I have a John Deere L111, issue with battery holding or getting charged. Using a new battery, starts once, then after shutting off, needs to be charged to crank the engine again. Is the battery being drained or just not charging right when in use?
Hi, my name is Welcome to Just Answer. What you need to do to test it is get a multimeter and set it to DC volts at 20 volts, then check the battery's voltage by touching the black to negative and red to positive. It should read out 12 volts, then start the tractor and do that again. If the charging system is working, it should read 14 volts, etc. If not, I would check the wires, but it could be the stator has went bad.
Thanks for the feedback. Getting a multimeter tonight to test. The second time, when it should read 14 volts, do I do that while the engine is running?
Yes, put the multimeter on DC volts, should be like DC 20, etc. Then take the black one and touch the negative post and the red one to the positive post while it's running. It should read 2 volts higher.
Okay, the test with engine off was 12.18 volts. Then after I turned engine on and tested with engine running, it tested lower at 12.12 volts. I turned it off and tried starting again. It hesitated and I was able to crank it carefully back on. Then I turned engine off again. More hesitation, starting it a third time. The fourth time it wouldn't start at all and the battery tested at 11.8 volts. So it's not going up at all when running, and it seems to be losing charge while engine running. Where do we go from here?
Okay, it could be the stator, which with most engines is located under the flywheel. You have to remove the cover to the engine and use a flywheel puller to remove the flywheel. The charging system is under the flywheel, but I'm going to try to get your engine info in a parts breakdown. I can see your engine is a Briggs, but it doesn't have the model type and code info available. The ad would be on the engine. Do you have that info?
Here you go. Briggs & Stratton, Intech 2 horsepower V-Twin OHV BG20319 CGXL 111A022489. Also, from what I've read, it sounds like it could also be an issue with the regulator. Is there a good way to test the stator and the regulator?
I've found some info for you. The first is a video, but the guy shows how to use a multimeter to test https://u2.b/9n9h24w, and I also found this as well from Briggs, http://www.briggsandstratton.com/a/n/support/facts/charging system alternator test.
Thank you for the information. The model type this L111 is #number 1. From the Briggs link you sent me, I tracked down my stator and regulator. Stator 696,458, regulator 691185. Briggs has good instructions for multimeter testing. The stator is good, putting out 30 VAC with engine running. Regulator, on the other hand, appears bad with negative DC volts reading on multimeter with engine running. The Briggs replacement part for this regulator is 845,907. There's also what appears to be a diode after the regulator between it and the battery. Should I just do a visual test on the diode to make sure it isn't shorted? I just went down and checked on that red wire between the regulator and the battery, and looking more closely, I think it's just a connector, no diode. That makes sense, right? There wouldn't need to be a diode since we've got the regulator right.
Yes, I just did an alternator replacement job tonight, and the diode appear to be with the red wire near the connector.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/ythi.